Welcome to Dr. Walls and Friends on Africa TV1. And I am joined here today with some just fabulous powerhouse women here on the beautiful island of St. Lucia at the Hotel Bleu. I have to practice, not Hotel Bleu, Hotel Bleu. And Rodney Bay, St. Lucia. And yes, that's my French piece. I'm learning. You know, it's Heritage Month. I'm getting my Creole. So I'm going to start with that one, Bleu. Okay, all right. I'm going to have you ladies introduce yourself to our audience. We'll start over here with the woman who I'm letting hold my crown.
Hi, I am Louise Victor, and I am the recently crowned Miss Caribbean Tourism Queen 2013.
Yay! And recent graduate.
Yes, I just graduated with my bachelor's degree in business management and marketing just Sunday.
Yes.
So, wow.
Yeah. So we have to clap for that too. Congratulations. Yes.
Hi, I'm Felicia Montoot. I'm a registered dental hygienist. I'm also a performance poet with headphones.
And one of my favorite poets here on the island. She has this amazing piece, and we have it on video from before, so you'll have to go to SIH Global One and look and listen to this piece. It's just thinking about it. Yes, it's a gift. It's a gift to the world. And the songstress.
Hi, my name is Naomi Grandison. I am a registered nurse by profession as part of Wellness Innovators. And I'm also a poet and a singer, and I'm part of the Headphone Movement.
Yes. And the mother.
My first job.
That's your first job.
Yes. Hi, my name is Jermaine Joseph. I am one of the facilitators of Headphone. Also a junior architect and a mother of two, like Dr. Walls just said. And I'm supposed to do that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for joining me today. And we are excited. We'll have 2 additional guests who are coming. We know that we're dealing with rush hour right now, so when they come, you'll see some additional people when we come back from commercial break from time to time. But I wanted to bring you ladies here today because you are all very powerful in your own right and collectively just a phenomenon. And I felt it was important for the people of St. Lucia, but also the people of the world, to know the work, the passion that is taking place, because many times we hear about the negative things that are happening and we don't get a chance to highlight that which is positive. And I am a firm believer that we only have to tip the scale. 51%, that's all it takes to put us in power. Okay? And so I once read a long time ago that said it's not that there's more hate in the world, it's just that they do a better job. So for those of you who love, let's do our jobs better. And I felt as though when I had the opportunity to meet each of you or hear about each of you, because some of you are meeting for the first time, finally face to face, that you all exude that power as well. And so I thought it would be wonderful to capture that on tape, and also mainly to encourage those who are out there. Young women, women of the same age, little girls, older women, but also males as well. Because it's not as if we live in a single gender society. And I may say something, Naomi may say it, and Jermaine may say it, and it touches somebody different. I mean, how many times have our parents told us something, but we didn't listen to them? And they said, oh, I said the same thing, but you go down the street and talk to Miss So-and-so, and she tells you exactly what I said, but you listen. Okay? So the reality is this is why we are all here, because we all have a voice, and we never know whose ear, whose spirit, whose heart is attuned to that voice. Yes. Yes.
And I've had a lot of encouragement from, as you said initially, you were talking about angels appearing at the right time. You know, getting to architecture, for example, a male-dominated field, it has to be easy, but I think if you're positive and you stay focused on what, that passion is, what drives you, you get there, you get the encouragement, the people show up along the way that is in the right direction for whatever reason.
Yes.
And then it just walks with things.
Exactly.
It's not an easy road, you will get discouraged. But I think the key is to stay focused on how you feel inside about this thing. The same way I think I took that model when I put into Headphones. it didn't have a platform here in St. Lucia for artists to express themselves, whether it be visually, spoken word, or singing song. We didn't have that medium except for probably in the hotels where you sing at a gig or something like that.
Right.
So Headphone happens every last Thursday in the month. It's free. Artists come down there and they pour their souls out basically. And the thing is, there's a receptive crowd that doesn't judge, or they're very open to anything. Like somebody would come up on stage and say 1 + 1 is 2, and it means something. It touches everybody in the crowd, and they accept, with an open heart. So I would say that a community like that has fortunately been able to flourish here in St. Lucia.
And I'm glad you talked about it. Introduce headphone to the audience so that they know what exactly headphone is.
Yeah. Headphone is a movement, well, what we call an underground movement right now, because it's not mainstream. A platform for artists, like I said, where they come to express themselves in whatever format, whatever shape, whatever size, whatever intention you have. We try to enable it. And we have a lot of young people who come down to Headphone to express themselves. So they're not just on street corners playing whichever way.
That's right.
They actually come out and
And that's what's so important, because a lot of times people don't have that positive outlet to express themselves. And as we talked a little bit off camera, how you were saying, and Felicia, I'll let you jump in, how you were saying it started as a conversation, and the next thing you know, 2 weeks later, it had moved from inspiration to manifestation.
Yeah, and I'm always thankful for the founders of Headphone, and like you said, the fact that they came up with this idea and they put it into motion right away. They did not sleep on it, as we say. They did not just disregard it as just an idea. They actually put it into motion, and what it did for me, I don't know if I could express how grateful I am for the growth I've had since I started doing Headphone. I remember the first time I performed was probably, I think Headphone started in November 2009, and I performed, my first was January 2010 or thereabout. And I normally write poetry in my journals, and I don't share it with anybody. And here I was on a stage sharing a piece of me.
Wow.
Right? And when I write, it's raw. It's about a journey that you have within yourself, and then you express it. And some people tend to keep those things personal. But actually getting a stage to express, to share, is very important, because as you were saying, sharing, knowing something is one thing, but sharing is different, because I would experience something like, I had this poem about Afro hair, and I shared it, and I remember getting off the stage, and some young woman called me on the side, and she was like, I really appreciate that piece, because I've been wanting to grab my hair natural for the longest while, and my mother would not understand why I would want to do it. And you writing that piece, it actually empowered me, it actually inspired me to want to do something and be true to myself as to what I want to do. And I just want to say again, thank you guys, and also let people know that it's important to share. It's important. It's not just about knowing something, but sharing what you know, because you never know who it will touch. You never know whose ears it will fall upon. You never know who gets to see whatever you have to share. But share it, and keeping it inside, to me is selfish. You know, and you don't grow as a person. I've grown.
That's right.
I've grown because of the feedback I have got. I mean, it's not always good. You get the feedback where you have to do to improve on your work and all that. So you grow from sharing as well, not just the person that received it.
And I love what you said, sharing what you know. And that was one thing when I had an opportunity to interview Dr. Gail Rutherford. She had said so many times people feel as though they can't speak until they're an expert. And so there's this silence that just happens. But we have our own authority about different things, and it's important to share that piece. And I also always think that once we let some things out, that means that more things can grow inside of us.
That's huge. I think in the work that I do, because I work as a nurse at the rehab center, alcohol and drug rehab center, and I'm also part of a team where we go out and we speak to persons about health, promoting health, because it's always after the fact. Sometimes persons get sick and then, but what I have found from my own observation is that we suffer from a lot of issues of shame. Like we are shameful of ourselves, very, very riddled with guilt. And I firmly believe that these emotions are probably the most toxic emotions in terms of allowing them to just, be buried there and sort of like, or even ferment, I would say, and not be expressed and not be given an outlet to come out, and so that you can sort of, like as Felicia said, learn that your perception of yourself is not truly correct.
That's right.
And this sort of like self-defeating prophecy is what affects a lot of persons in manifesting their dreams, manifesting their desires in life. Because if you think that you are nothing or you are not much, you wouldn't want to share. You would feel intimidated by everybody else. But if you start to switch it up and you say, you know what, there is a being, whether everybody has their own belief in a higher power, that loves me enough, and although I may not do everything perfectly, although I may make mistakes and so on, I am not a wrong being.
That's right.
I am not defunct.
That's right.
I am okay.
Yes.
And but there's always room for improvement, and I think that skewed way of thinking does negatively impact on the choices we make. What we decide to give attention to in our lives, the kind of people that we decide to entertain.
That's right.
And the direction that we, and also, like Jermaine is a mother now, the messages she would give to her daughter is one of affirming, that you are loved and you are appreciated, and it is the action that I am putting straight. I'm not saying that you are a bad person, and I think we need to all take responsibility for how we encourage each other and how we correct each other, so that we can send the right message. Not that you are a bad person, and you are defunct, and and I would say you are an inherent terrible sinner. That kind of thing.
We wash that away.
I have an issue with, by the way.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I think that's why you started the I Am Beautiful campaign, isn't it? That's one of the reasons.
Well, we're going to come back to that in a moment. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to pick back up when we come back.
Awesome.
We'll be back in a few moments.